Chip here with the XRP Minute. What is going on, people? Everybody is in the house tonight. You know, I thought he was going to do another 24-hour stream. Always possible when he gets on. When he's on a roll, I hate to interrupt him, but he was on a roll tonight, and he still may be streaming. I'll wake up tomorrow morning, he'll be streaming again. But let's roll it down. I always like to shout out the very first person that's in here. Today it was close because a lot of times it's Jungle Inc., which I always appreciate. Today is XRP Carolina. And then we've got Jeff from Holder Report. We've got, who else we have in here? Let's roll now. Dana Palmer's in the house. And Danny Torres. Hey, Danny. Good to see you. XRP Connie. Fantastic you're here. Dan Espy. Wow, Dan Espy, where have you been, my man? You know, I got to give a big props to Dan Espy because I did one or two videos. Danny Espy saw it and he said, hey, Chip, I'd like to have you and promote you on my stream. And I was like, what? I was like, huh? So he wanted to have me on. Pretty excited about it. And so he promoted some of my early videos, man. So big props. I really appreciate that. And then he deleted his channel. It's a whole story. I'm not gonna go there. But the good news is I hear that he's coming back, and that's good news because he was, you know, I still have this in my head right around Christmas time. He was wearing the full Santa suit and doing the thing, and it was just festive. And I was out and around and watching SB on the stream. It was very cool stuff. We also have Anthony Jackson, what I like to call Ajax. I like to give him the moniker of Ajax, and my bro from another Mo, and he's been awesome. I got to tell you what. So you know I have my 1,000 celebration stream coming up. He was kind enough to donate one of D&I's awesome jerseys that you see hanging out behind him. It's hard to choose which one you'd like, but anyway, we're going to be giving one of those away, and I also want to shout out. Oh, hey, Notorious is in here as well. Hey, Notorious, Notorious. And then we got Spanish Fly. What's going on, Fly? Good to see you in here. Omar Kaufman's in the house. Rain here. Auburn Rain, Generation Brand X. Thank you, my man. My woman. I don't know. Generation Brand X. Could be one of either. Nobody knows. No Name XRP. That works for me. Dan the XRP man. Hike Around, which we'll hear a little bit more about in a little bit. And then who did I miss here? Who did I miss? Annalise George. Okay, so Annalise I want to shout out too because she's going to donate some crypto for some XRP specifically for the giveaway on the 1,000 giveaway. You know, once I hit 1,000 subs, I think I have 190 to go, and I've been picking up one and two, but I think I picked up one on the stream. But we'll get there together. We'll figure it out together. We're a community. We need a lot of love right now. We need to be cohesive. We need to talk about tech. We need to talk about Moon. We need to talk about a lot of things, which we will get to. Who else? I like to. If I miss someone, it's feels okay. So we've got on the restream. So on Mixer, we got Snowgirl 538 watching on Mixer. Hey Snowgirl, big shout out to you. We got Sean J. We got Proxies Media Group. He says Kumbaya. That's on the love thing. And we got Captain Crypto Morgan. Crypto Hawk on Twitter said the big news is coming out within the next day or so. Ooh, big news. I like big news. Someone bought somebody. Any clue about any? I don't know what that is all about. Yeah, Eli, what's up, man? We got to drink some bourbon together. I know you're going to be down in the neck of the woods. You're going to be in Orlando, which is only about 3 hours away from me, I believe. And I think I'm all kind of caught up here, guys. But what I wanted to do tonight, we're going to do a little diversion tonight. We're going to do something a little fun and different. Not too different, not too fun. But I wanted to introduce, tonight I have a special guest on tonight. And this is Matt. He's a science teacher. You can hear him. And the reason I wanted to have Matt on tonight is because, you know, he's someone that I see in the community that does some pretty amazing research. I have his webpage up right now. Let's get to it, please. Boom, there he is. And I pulled.
So my wife and I, we actually took a little vacation. We hiked in there, and he's like, oh, come on, we got to take a bunch of photos. And there's the one that I kind of love the best.
That's cool. What's that thing down in the bottom left corner there? What is that? That looks pretty cool. Is that like a hat or something?
That's my hat.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool,
my
man.
hat.
That's cool, man. It's like it's a well done shot. Did your wife take that shot? It's a really nice shot there.
Yes.
Beautiful, man. That's pretty cool. So, all right. So I want to get into a little bit the reason. So I want to just go in and describe why I wanted to have and get into why I wanted to have Matt on here. So Matt's been really kind enough to tag me on some articles, and every time he digs up something, I always like we see all the news. He digs up some cool stuff, does some amazing research, And I see him plugging away. And like, for example, he'll also, let me see if this is, what he'll also do is he'll also comment too. So what I'd like you guys to do right now is go follow him. He's at Matthew Liny, Matthew Liny, right there. So go ahead and give him a follow. Let's see if we can pump up his follows here, guys. But he's somebody great to follow. I love what he's up to and what he's doing out there. And so I wanted to ask you, man, how did you come to get involved with cryptocurrency and I guess XRP specifically?
Yeah, well, I got caught up in the last bull run. It was November 2017, and my one of my fellow science teachers was kind of following CNBC, and XRP had made an article where it said XRP, the next Bitcoin, and he came over to my class and he goes, "What do you know about Bitcoin?" And I said, "Bitcoin isn't that I had very little knowledge of what the space looked like, but I basically told him, is that a scam coin or something to that effect?" And he goes, "What do you know about XRP?" And I'm like, "Wait, there's more coins." And that just sent me down the road of just really doing deep research into the space. And I would say sometime in March of 2017, March of 2018, I made my first XRP purchase. I did not go to Bitcoin first. I was kind of hooked on XRP being the next possible mover in the space, and I'm kind of, ever since, that's where my focus has been. It's been just basically trying to make connections between who's using XRP, behind the scenes, who the seed investors are, and the whole deal. And the community that we have has done a great, service to everybody. We know where it is, we know who's using it, and it's up to, I guess, everyone else to find out, when will this take off? It's not like if it will, it's when it will. And I think now just learning about the regulations behind the scenes is most important. But
So what grades do you teach?
I'm a ninth grade science teacher.
All right. So I have a daughter in
So
ninth grade. So that's it. Well, obviously she's moving up to 10. So what's that like dealing with, how kids are looking at tech, and do you ever hear any kids talking about cryptocurrencies? Because, a lot of their parents may be into it. Do you ever hear any chatter there?
Skip, you know what? It's funny because when Snapchat came out, everyone was Snapchatting, and I knew that was going to be one of those things. And it's funny because you always try to keep up on the trends of what's going on with these teenagers. No one right now, not a single one of these kids, have any idea what's going on in the crypto space. I'm sharing the information with them, and some of them know about Sweatcoin and stuff like that. But we're so early, there it still hasn't filtered down into that space. And I think with the video games, that's where it's going to enter. Cryptocurrencies will enter into that realm. And it's funny that you had mentioned that because with Snapchat, it was lightning. It was everyone was using Snap. Facebook was not the one. The IPO, but if you would have foreseen that just by following what the kids were doing, but it's not the case with crypto. Crypto, these kids still don't have, and it's not there yet.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, my daughter lives on Snapchat. Like it's snap, 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 snap. It's not 24/7. I don't. She had to sign up for Facebook for something. It was like maybe like an OAuth type thing where she had to like sign in somewhere. But one of the things that I like that you talk about, you oscillate between heavy tech stuff that's going on with XRP. Your articles, the stuff you tweet. You don't really tend to tweet anything that's what I would call in term clickbait. And you're following some, real players like Bank XRP. I see every once in a while you give a retweet of some people that are doing some good stuff in the space. What are some of the things that you really like? I mean, obviously XRP has a lot of use cases. We know that, but what are some of the things that are really like, or what aspects of XRP really like light you up?
I think it's more the talk of centralization for decentralization. So I think that's most important, where you now have the opportunity from using a decentralized ledger where again, it's very hard to scam the average, taxpayer if the government is forced onto the ledger where we could see the payments and the the $15 billion that happened to be missing here, or the 30 billion that is now missing, and there, that all goes away when there's accountability. And I think that's most important, and that's what I think scares the government at the same time. But at the same time, if you understand what's about to happen, you understand that you're not going to be tracked 24/7 either. There's going to be things that are going to, I guess, that aspect of crypto is most fascinating to me. That whole, basically taking these centralization authority, powers and breaking those up into, smaller pieces, but giving more power back to the individual. And I think that's why the libertarians and people that are, outside government kind of are championing the whole crypto movement. But it has to be done working with the regulations, and I think that's why XRP is going to succeed so wildly. They are now bringing in the people that made the regulations into their, into Ripple, and now championing the coin itself, which is, there's no way, it's too big to fail, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty great, man. I tend to agree with some of that. I mean, well, first of all, let me shout out. I always like to shout out people. So got a 2XRP tip from Omar Kaufman. Omar, thank you, man. Also got a, hang on a second. My phone keeps reverting back to the wrong page here. And a 985 XRP from the Holder Report. I always like when I see some version of, because that's my number, 985. Let's be honest, can we? Me and Chip Younger, my little brother, who's also in the stream here, he's a watch guy. I sent him a new watch site earlier. I don't know if he got that, and if it seemed like something, I don't know. Comment there, Chip the Younger, if you have seen that watch site. 'Cause I thought it was cool. It's like you can trade shoes, like tennis shoes and cool stuff like that, and also watches. I was like, I don't get the connection, but there was some sort of a connection there. Yeah. So one of the things. So I had another question for you too. When it comes to the regulation, we talk a lot about regulation. We talk about the constant news flow that happens on a daily basis. What is your prediction for what's coming up in the future? Like, what do you think? Where do you think we're heading with this? Oh, wait a minute. Let me hang on a second. We got Connie Stewart. She we got a 589 tip. 0.589 XRP from Connie. Thank you so much, Connie. Sorry, I wanted to interrupt you there. So what are your thoughts? Like, what are trends you see based on the news you're seeing coming out? What are some of the things you see that are upcoming?
Well, India and the I guess you would say the Southeast Asian countries are moving forward, and I'm really excited to see what's going on with Japan and how SBI is going to push forward. You have a lot of bills that are in these houses of parliament in Japan and in India, and look, if the United States isn't going to move, I don't think these countries are going to wait, because the ledger is decentralized and they're wanting to get right on board. I don't know if they're going to wait for the United States forever, and I think that's going to be the big push. I don't know if it's going to be beginning of 2020 or just after that, but it's inevitable. There is no way they're going to be able to really, delay as much as they want. And I think with all these, right now you have a lot of exchanges that are being regulated. So Mexico is just regulated, a bunch of exchanges in Thailand just regulated. So I think that's the next big push. The government realizes they better do something. I guess they're going to be taxed, or, there'll be income coming in from these regulators, or these exchanges to the government. They'll get their equivalent to whatever the bit license is, and we'll see, how far, the government is going to allow the space to move. But think about this: you can't put a stop to it. It's like you would literally have to shut down the internet, and they're not going to do that.
No, you're right. Agreed. I mean,
they're going to work with, and then they're going to try to profit from, and eventually, I think out of the thousands of coins you'll have, just like you did with the you'll have your winners, and hopefully XRP is one of the winners.
Well, I wouldn't say hopefully. I have a pretty good feeling about it. I built a whole stream. We built a whole community around it. I think we all. I think you're just being a little bit, modest there, no doubt. But what I wanted to do here is I'm gonna flip through some of the news and then let's go through this together. But I wanted to get to some of this news and you go ahead and chime in. I'll have you comment on some of the stuff. And I know it's raw, but sometimes that's the best way. It's like go, okay, you're on, and then let's look at this. So there you are again. Okay, let's look at this. So I saw this bit of news here. So this is kind of what I led with. So this, and I thought when I first saw this, Google and AMEX to partner with Ripple when regulation on crypto becomes clear. Okay, tell me more. So I scrolled down a little bit. And so I don't know who Tom Baitens is. I don't know. Maybe you guys know him. Maybe you're all follow him. I don't know who he is, but he's a Twitter user. His online name is @Tom_Baitens, expressing optimism the future Ripple is bright due to the fact that a lot of partnership deals are happening. Okay, sounds plausible. But what he basically goes on to say, what if, and what he gets onto is could Google and Ripple be in a secret partnership? So Google is the most prominent search engine that's way ahead of its competitors on the online search engine business, and it's right market for online. Okay, so I see a lot of speculation. There's unconfirmed reports. I always like this. An unknown source, unconfirmed. If it's unconfirmed, why would you report on it? Right? Am I wrong here? Matt, am I wrong? It's like unconfirmed, a possible.
It's funny because whenever you look at these, one of the things I've learned with research, and you have a lot of these articles that are they're cut and paste from different sources. So the person actually writing it actually might have cut and paste from other sources, and finding the real sources is very challenging at times. But this is just a speculation piece. However, Google Ventures actually is a seed investor in Ripple, and American Express is working with Ripple. So he's trying to put the pieces together, kind of like we are, but he just put it in obviously in an article here, trying to get us to, read his stuff. But hey, look, I see it happening, and I think all of us could see this eventually happening.
Yeah, I agree. And I clicked on it. I was like, so, the reason I showed it, I don't like to go with clickbait stuff, but I did see you could say, a lot of it's built around speculation and everything else, but I do think what they're really going for here is that, and here it is right here. Firstly, Google's the leading online search platform, high percentage users, search for information, but they say secondly, global remittance industry's volume is 625 billion. So they kind of allude to the fact that, if you look at it, it's not out of the ordinary. At some point down the line, is it going to happen? I think it's very possible it could happen, but again, it's a lot of it's speculation. I love how you can write an entire article and say really not too much. I know I led with this tonight, but I sometimes like to break down some of the speculation and FUD too, because without. Go ahead.
Yeah, where it says Ripple beats Bitcoin, you got to understand there are so many people coming into the space. That's what I like to highlight. So whenever I'm looking at an article, if I see something like that, I will then pull that out. And then, so if anyone's reading it and they're searching, they hashtag Ripple or XRP, I want them to see that, because again, coming into the space, you don't have a clear understanding. You're researching, and then when you start to see, the facts that Ripple is faster, it's actually more decentralized. People then understand what that means. They're more likely to invest. But the reality is, for you and me, if we have an investment opportunity like this, I don't think we have the opportunity to push the coin higher. That's not the market case is going to be for the big institutions and the bankers. However, being you and me looking for information and having an investment opportunity where we could truly change our lives and other people are there, I think that's most important. That's why I like to put out, information that people could clearly see and make an informed decision and hopefully understand that.
No, well said. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I'll add to that because, it's interesting what I've seen the last couple of days. If you guys all are familiar with Bitcoin Ben. So Bitcoin Ben did a really great stream with Sam I Am. Unfortunately, the one that Sam I Am posted to his live stream, they didn't do it live. They did it and he uploaded it, but he had some audio issues. the one, if you want to listen to the good one, the one is over because Bitcoin Ben also put it on his channel, and it was really good. And what I like about that is like I think a lot of people, I follow Bitcoin Ben, but I just like him because he's just an average guy. I love his take. He's not some guy trying to be perfect. He's just a guy out there giving his opinion. He's a truck driver, and that's what I like about it. He's not trying to be somebody. He's like, hey, this is who I am. This is what you get. But recently I've seen an interest. He says a lot of people from the XRP community follow him. And what's interesting is, so then the very next day I see Matt Hamilton on there, and then he's talking, right? And then it's like, so, and then tonight he did a stream, which I didn't watch it, but I did get just kind of like a wind of he was doing something else. XRP was in the title, so I like to see that. And what's crazy is that you realize, guys. I mean, when I think about it, when you and we look at this, we look at XRP. Listen, we've been around the space for a little bit, and when people come in from other projects, whether they're Litecoin, Bitcoin Ben's really more of a Litecoin. He really should be called Litecoin Ben. But when you come in from these other projects, they have this outer sort of wrapping of what XRP is. XRP is a banker's coin, like robots, doing the robot dance. XRP is this. It's all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah. And you realize how warped their opinion is. It's just completely off base. And I'm really happy that Bitcoin Ben is doing these because he really wants to learn. He's trying to shine a light on it. And hey, before we go any further, Matt, by the way, if you don't know who this is on right here, I'm going to go ahead and do a little run through again. This is Matt. He is a science teacher, teaches 9th grade science. He's from Long Island, New York, and he's joining me on the stream tonight. And the reason I wanted to have him on, go follow him. He's Matthew, L-I-N-Y, right there, Matthew, L-I-N-Y. Follow him on Twitter, but he always uncovers some really cool stuff. If you think you've seen stuff, he does deep dives on some research stuff, and I'm like, where does he find this stuff? He's like digging through, dumpster diving, and he's under, he's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Gets a little bit dirty in the process, and it's pretty good. So I want to go through I've been looking at the comments like here and there, but I want to strum through them a little bit, and let's see, what do we got? So DNI is in here. DNI, what's going on? I thought you were still streaming. I didn't want to interrupt you. I was like, psst, DNI, psst. But you were on a roll, man. And when you're on a roll, nobody wants to get in front of that roll. So what's he saying here? Yes, the newer government propaganda method quotes someone who quotes a ghost. Right on, right? The straw man concept, right? Yo, DNI, who sent you? And how did you get past security? That's the Jeff in the whole report. Kenny Williams, XRP and Coinbase plays an important role. Agreed. I think I still didn't think that got the buzz it needed. I think because we got that first time when we back in 2017 when it went up and on the news, on the rumors that it was going to be on Coinbase, but I still think it's an important play. What else do we have here? Yeah, Anthony Jackson. Can we hit those thumbs up? And so we need to show XRP some love. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for the love. I always appreciate it from this community. Omar Kaufman, he's CIA. Miyagi in the house. Let's see. Oh, CIA and DNI. What do we got here? Let's see. Yeah, and SB's in here. Dan SB. What's up, Danny? What do you got? What do you got to say tonight, man? You must have something going on. Talk about your new channel. Do a shout out. Let us know when it's going to be starting. I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but go. No. Yeah, okay, so XRP Connie, look at this. She's like, hey, I use the XBot. That's not why we do this stream, but I've always appreciated everything you guys do. And let me see. So we got another 985 from the whole report. What's going on? Jeff from the whole report's blowing it up. Got 0.8, 403621 from Captain Crypto. Brain, I think I got everyone, and if I didn't, please throw punch me. Go ahead, take a shot. I can take it, hard as you can. Boom, right on the cheek. All right, what else do we have here? I want to see what else we got. Chip tip. Do the chip tip. The chip tip's there. You know where to find it. And I want to shout out Notorious with his videos and everything that he does, but he always comes in. Usually, and it's weird. I had an expectation of getting gold medals. Tonight I got the chip barcode, and that's kind of a new one. Then we also have Tom Mullins in here. Tom Mullins is in the house. Beautiful. What's up, Tom? XRP. Connie, hit those thumbs up. Yeah, thank you, Connie. Always so kind of you. Calling that out. I really do appreciate that. And guys, I hope you're following. Let me go ahead and do this. I'm going to put this. Let me make this easy for you guys. Let me make this easy. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat. But please go follow Matt. He puts out some amazing research. There he is right there. You can't say you don't know what it is and you don't know what it's spelled. I just gave you the link, guys. So go out there and hit him up and follow. I want to get into some other things here. Yeah, I know. So this is something that I saw. I kind of want to sidestep this. I know Jeff from Hodl Report got into this a little bit. To me, big banks announced Fiat-Pegged XRP killer, and they basically go against the whole idea of is this, you know, uh, to me, it's more like another JPM coin. So big banks funded a new startup, given them money to basically try to go out and build their own Ripple. Well, good luck. You're about 7 years too late, and by the time you catch
Right.
up, right? Am I wrong about that? I mean,
It's, you know what it is. You're creating, just as David Schwartz said, you're creating these walled gardens that basically you're creating networks of networks that eventually have to talk to each other, and they're going to need in a ledger, and that in a ledger will have XRP on it, doing the transactions all day long. And at first, I actually did not know about this particular part of the project, the USG coin, but I did, just a quick, the beauty of the community. And right away, Leonidas came in and he just showed me a couple of articles. He DM'd me, and then I was up to speed instantly. But being able to figure that out and then have the community not panic because, oh my God, the articles were XRP killer this, and it was all over the place. However, just being able to have that sound foundation and people being able to tell you, wait a second, this is what's going on, it is such a godsend. So having the community like that, I think is so important, and being able to rely on, the holders and the Tiffany Haydens and even Jungle, just everyone in the community brings that together. So looking at this, where in the past I would have, said, oh my God, wait a second. You're now like, all right, you could quickly assimilate what's going on with the information and then, share it with others and let them know that it's really has no impact on XRP whatsoever.
no, it's true, and I always love that walled garden remark because that's exactly it really brings it into perspective. Also, I want to shout out. Boy, my phone is acting all kinds of goofy tonight. But anyway, I wanted to. Holy cow, what's going on with my phone? Anyway, hang on a second. Sorry about that, guys. So we got the phone's blowing up over here, and it is. Let's see, what do we got here? So we got Oh man, I know. This is just. I love this on a live stream. So anyway, this is a. Yeah, so Danny Torres, 0.589. Thank you, Danny, so much. Thank you, appreciate that. Awesome. I wanted to go ahead and shout you out. Can you turn Matt up? Matt, you're just gonna have to try to talk a little bit louder. I'm sorry, I got you as close to the mic as possible. I'm getting a good level on you, but you're just gonna have to talk a little bit louder. Thank you, Auburn Rain, if you can.
No, no problem.
And it could be. Let me just reposition this a little bit better. Let me see if that. Try talking right now.
Hey,
All right, there we go.
is that better?
Yeah, it might be a little bit better. I think I got you in the front of the speaker, but it's about as good as I can get, guys, for right now. By the way, I took Rain's trick. Rain taught me a little trick. I was like, how did you get that sound? He goes, oh, I just basically put it on a Bluetooth speaker. So basically, here we go, Bluetooth speaker next to the microphone. And you just got to get closer to that your mic on your side there. So hopefully it's a little bit louder. I wanted to go through, I know we're running out of time. What is this, XRP? Okay, this is a cool article. XRP actually has a bigger market cap than Ethereum, positions itself right behind Bitcoin, which I thought this was a pretty interesting article. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it, but we're not too far off when we look at that stuff. I also want to get into, let's talk about this one more time. Seems to be a little bit of misunderstanding in the community. I'm going to go into two exchanges that are shutting down or have shut down, and still there are folks out there, we still hear the horror stories because they're keeping their private keys on the exchanges. We've talked about this ad nauseum, and I'm like, guys, figure it out. I mean, get yourself a cold storage wallet, find something. Get yourself a Nano, an Alipol, whatever. I know RTB Dutchy uses one of those, but get something. So this one here, this one was from the Netherlands. And you I always get a little worried when I see this too. It says, but they promised to return. Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe they might. Here's another exchange that failed. Now, I'm not gonna. So I remember there was some excitement about this exchange when it was brand new. I know SB hit me up. He's like, check this out, XRP United. We were like, what? An XRP only exchange? This is pretty cool. But then early on, we found some issues with it, like just trying to buy and trying to do stuff, and then the website didn't work quite right. So I think they kind of launched it maybe quicker than they might have expected to. And that was kind of a weird thing because, it's like, but anyway, that's going on. Here's two exchanges. One stream, two exchanges dead. I'm a big privacy guy. I always talk about privacy, and here we go again. So here's Tesla preventing employees from chatting anonymously through Blind. Well, there's a lot of stuff. Any news about Tesla can totally shake the markets. I get this, but here's a technology company basically cracking down and telling their employees what they can and cannot do. And it's an anonymous app. Now, I understand they're trying to control information. So to me, it's borderline. I don't know. I know I'm just dropping this one on you, Matt, but what do you think about them just saying, hey, you're not allowed to do anonymous stuff?
Well, if you're on the company's salary, they're able to basically, yeah, they have a right to do that. If you don't like it, you don't have to work there. So at that point, they're trying to control the flow of information. I'm sure they have trade secrets they don't want out, so they're trying to do anything they can. If you're working for a corporation, you're going to have to abide by those rules. However, I'm sure there are going to be ways around it. There always are, and people that work will always find ways if they want to communicate. But yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Tesla on that.
Yeah, so I wanted to read some of the chats. Thank you for that. Hit the chip bot, folks. Auburn Rain says. And so Jeff from Hold Report, more international Supreme Court precedent set. Israel Supreme Court sides with the largest crypto exchange in Israel and tells Israel that they have to continue working with them. I like to see that. You're right. That is a precedent when you start seeing this kind of stuff. And, when you see the SEC going after Kin, right? It's like it's kind of starting to get a little weird out there. And meanwhile, you got Congress yapping about everything except for passing one of the greatest bills. Bring that out of committee. Bring the token taxonomy bill out of committee instead of barking about crazy stuff. So I got this one. I always like to see interesting stuff on the Twitters and the internets, as they say. So we got this one from Cargo. So what this site's all about is a way to tokenize assets. So it uses Ethereum and ERC 721 token contracts, and it's a service platform that securely tokenizes tangible and digital assets on the Ethereum blockchain, allowing you to buy, sell, auction, trade, or transfer them. It's decentralized, so it opens a new possibility for digital goods. Kind of cool, right? So you see everything's basically being tokenized, and so anytime I see anything in this space that opens up, they give some suggestions for business, platform for digital display and sales, digital file and retrieval. So when you start to see, so their fee is 1%. I think it's a little bit on the high side. They're not using XRP, but again, I think this is great for the space. I know Matt touched on this earlier. What is good for the space is good for all of us. And Phoenix Starborn is in the house. And somebody else, who else did I mix? I want to scroll up here. So this made me laugh. Carl Lewis said, "Hey Chip, how do I need to keep the wallet? I've had it on the fridge for a day. Should it be long enough for cold storage?" What? So that made me smile, and thanks for making me smile when Matt was getting into some serious stuff. But that made me laugh a little bit. Notorious dropping the chip code over there, the chip barcode. I don't think I shouted out properly. Captain Crypto Morgan, get a Nano S. They got the Nano X, guys. I'll be honest with you. What do you think about the Nano X? The Nano X is a Bluetooth device. Should we be connecting our cold storage device with Bluetooth? Matt, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, if you're out of range and you're in a house where there's no one picking up that signal, I don't see a problem with it. I mean, if you're sitting in Starbucks and you're transmitting your information, your crypto from your Nano to using the Bluetooth, I'd be very worried. I would not recommend that. But if you're in your home and there's your signal is not being sent out, far, I don't think you have to worry at all, because eventually you're going to have credit cards doing the same exact thing, using the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth, transmitting your crypto from the store to your card and so forth.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I still I would still like some peace of mind knowing there's some sort of encryption enabled, even if it was 256, but there should be. I almost feel like almost anything we do now, with privacy or anything, because anything that's going to end up on the blockchain, we're going to need, if we're going to hold the keys for it. I kind of agree with that. I mean, Bluetooth has a very limited range. I know if you have a Bluetooth speaker and you walk away with your phone, and all of a sudden you start hearing it blip out, and you're like, what? I barely walked out of the room, but sometimes you go further. It all depends on the house and everything. James Malpass tweeted this one out today. He's not in here. I can shout him out, but hopefully he's listening on the replay. But James, thank you for this one. So this one is Apple CryptoKit for iOS 13 suggests full cryptocurrency wallets are coming to iPhone. Apple announced CryptoKit, a new framework that allows developers to perform cryptographic operations securely and efficiently. So this right here, they just had the Worldwide Developers Conference. They're finally killing iTunes, which, I don't know if Jungle's still in here. I know he's commented on this. I'm a big Apple fan. I'm an Apple freak. Everything I have in our house, everything's Apple. But I'll be honest with you, since Steve Jobs left, I've been more and more disappointed with the company. And I have to say that the CryptoKit itself kind of tells me that maybe, we're getting more in that mass adoption. If it's on the iPhones, if it's on Android, if the ease of use, I still think we have the custody issue. We talked about Aunt Claire, can't figure it out. She's heard about what is this Bitcoin, right? She doesn't know what the Bitcoin is. I mean, so Matt, you talked about people in your family that, they think you're nuts, right? They think you're a little on a looney tune.
It's crypto is generational, but not just that. Tech is generational. My dad still uses AOL and Internet Explorer. So when you try to explain to him what's going on with crypto, or having him go on to Coinbase, it's a massive undertaking. And until that's as easy as turning on a phone, that's when the true mass adoption will take place.
Well, do you think that I mean, with Facebook coming up the WorldCoin, I mean, do you think that that's kind of what they're going for? I mean, I guess it's more of a stable coin, but still, hey, Bob Moneybags is in the house. Bob Moneybags, and also Ben Sedano, I don't know, Ben. Correct me, I probably screwed that up, but Ben's in here. Love to see Ben in here. Thank you for stopping by. And what is Bob Moneybags? Tim Cook is garbage. Yeah, man. I know you're a big hater, but I'm kind of like that. I mean, like when you think about it, Steve Jobs picked him as his successor, but did he pick him because he knew his legacy would be preserved? I mean, they're not doing anything groundbreaking. They're not going in there kicking over tables, going, "We designed it, or we're gonna, or forget it all." They're coming out with lame stuff. Now, I don't know if you saw this new Apple. I have a funny name for it, but I want to show you this real quick. This is the let's see if I go to apple.com. Let's see how this works out. But they've got this new Apple Pro, which is all right. Let's see. What is this? What's even going on with their site? I mean, what is this, right? So I want to go to their. I'm trying to get to there's the watch. Where is their new Mac Pro? This is it right here. I affectionately refer to this as the cheese grater because, you spend $6,000, you buy one of those big blocks of cheese. You're like, hey, I need something to grind up the cheese. So you just rub the cheese on there, you do a little and I'm like, okay, it's retro looking. It's got those little sofa legs, you buy that couch from IKEA. They put these little legs on there. It's kind of fun. They screw in, or you can put them on any board and make a coffee table out of. And I was like, I know it's Johnny Ive. Johnny Ive's the same guy, but does Jobs go in there and go like, man, I'm just not feeling the cheese grater, man. I'm just not feeling it right now. And yeah, it's configurable, expandable, and the top lifts off. We've seen all that before. Anyway, I didn't want to derail that too much, but I just think like, what are we talking about with this stuff? I mean, this is a $6,000 computer, and it's basically a cheese grater. Am I wrong? Tell me where I'm wrong, Matt. Tell me where I've gone off the edge.
Well, Apple is going to do what Apple's going to want to do, and the market will determine if it's going to be successful.
Right on. So, go ahead.
I'm kind of with you with the Apple and with anything Apple related. Getting back to, you have to make the whole crypto thing easy. And I don't know if you saw it today, but Amazon was basically you now could speak your payments into Alexa, and Alexa will pay your bills. So I could see where crypto might even be the same thing, where you will basically speak in, so no one's going to have to worry about your keys. You'll have a bot on the other side, basically taking care of the transactions. But we'll see. We'll see where the next 6 months bring us.
Yeah, agreed. And so I think when you're talking about smart things to do, so Anthony Jackson just shared he put all his crypto on an arbitrage bot. So it's like, and I find that to be a really good way to it's a little bit of risk, but you could end up with something. It's possible, and so that made me laugh a little bit. XRP Carolina says, hey, I just switched to Apple about 2 years ago. I'm never going back to Android. Let me tell you guys a funny story, and I think I've told it before, and so what? Hey, we're going to talk about stuff, but for you new people, so in 1992, I wanted to buy a computer. I'm like, I love Apple. I want to get one. Want to start my design business. I was a young buck back then. I said, let me design something, and so back then, a 2CX was $7,200. I bought that, and while I was buying that, they had a $4,995 laser printer by Mac. So I basically blew about 13 grand instead of buying a car. Back then I was a car, and I was like, that was just the choice I made. So today you buy a computer for 6 grand, this thing would blow the doors off. I mean, even the cheese grater and all, but it would blow the doors off. And something else we like to talk about here on the XRP Minute, in addition to XRP, hang on, Hodl Report said it had a good comment up here too, and I'm sorry if I missed it. It was a good one that I wanted to get to, and as you know, endless comments. You should be like a search. You can just search there, but there isn't. But anyway, I was kind of reading it as going by. So yeah, Android Chromebook, Chromebox, never look back. You stream, you need OBS, shortcut, do all that crap. Microsoft back to Windows. So he's look, I mean, everyone has a different flavor. You like what you like, and Moneybags says you can search the web while making homemade mac and cheese at the same time. I mean, what's better than mac and cheese, Bob Moneybags? Seriously, you know what I mean? That ooey gooey cheese, and if you're in Canada, they call it Kraft Dinner. Just wanted to let you know that. What else we have here? The Apple Cult. I've been an Apple Cult member forever and a day, but I'll call them on stuff. I'll call it as I see it. If they do cool stuff, great. If they don't do cool stuff, I'll be after them, man. I really will. I'll tell them as I see it. You guys, no matter what, anytime you see that, you're gonna be thinking cheese grater. I've totally got inside. You're gonna be cheese grater. Oh my God. Chip, Carl Lewis says, Chip, give me your cash. That's an investment advice. He's giving me investment advice. Carl Lewis is giving me investment advice. All right. Patrick Chip says, ha ha ha, Anthony Jackson. Yeah, Anthony Jackson is funny dude. So this is, every once in a while been updated, but you go to the store, and I don't care what store it is. You go to Best Buy. You go to the local food market down here. It's Publix. Whatever it may be, the Winn-Dixie. What else? Your big super mega stores like BJ's and Sam's Club and Costco, they all got the same garbage, crappy receipt. Well, that's about to change. So proof of concept here is a Netflix data engineer. He wants to find his way in here. I'll show you what he's doing here, which I think is pretty cool. Now on the left-hand side is what we're pretty much accustomed to, right? All uppercase, yelling at you what you bought, okay? These silly things over here, we're looking at all this stuff. And so it's not a great picture, unfortunately. I blew up that picture, but what they're showing you is price-wise, you can just scan this and instantly, you don't even have to look at this. You can kind of see and scan, and they've broken it down into specific parts, for example. Oh, geez, I didn't even tell. Here we go. So on the top of it, they've made this like chart here. So you can see 32% were meat and seafood, 17% on produce. I mean, we have the data's there. Why aren't we doing this? And it's like, it's still kind of the old garbage, dot matrix printer from 1978. I don't know why we haven't figured that out yet, but that's, atrocious. But here, eggs and dairy, it tells you what you bought. Because if you're ever looking at it, you're like, wait, they were charging me for that? That was supposed to be a buy one, get one. And you look on it, you can't ever find it on the damn receipt. It's like doing one of Matt's deep dive research projects where you're trying to go in and figure out where it is, and they added one, but they took the other one off. There's too much math involved with that, but I love this. By the way, yerba kombucha, yerba mate. I'm a big fan of yerba mate, which I don't know if you guys know that, but anyway, I've been into yerba mate for a while. But Matt, what do you think about this? Is this due for a redesign, man? I mean, is this time?
You know what? It would be nice. How about this? If basically you get an instant QR code, you could scan it into an app, and it could basically keep track of your food bills.
Well, right, same thing, right? But then we'd have to have the food producers put a QR code. But I like the idea because what you're basically, and I thought the QR code was dead until I saw what it could do for crypto. Because if you got to put those numbers, copy and paste, especially if you have a tag, you just scan it. And I know, Anna, you had a little bit of issues scanning that. If you're still in the stream, I did look at your I'll send that to you after the stream, not an issue. So I did get that. I wanted to shout that out. But see, I also on Mac too, on their Safari browser. The reason I use this is it runs less is it just gets rid of all the garbage. If you guys are noticing, I'm not on the same site. I'm able to click this little button and bam, there goes all the garbage. We're getting close to it. I know we started a little bit late because DNI was on a 24-hour roll here, and I'm sorry, DNI, if I know I just had to go live because I like to get to bed at a recent hour. Did you declare your MacBook Pro you see flying as an Apple? Oh boy. Carl Lewis bringing the jokes. Yeah, don't worry, Annalise. I will get that to you. I will get it to you. Swatch watch with double face guard and white. Look at that. Uh-oh. Chip the Younger, he loves swatches. By the way, I used to have like 20, 25 back in the day. But then I realized something really important. We don't ride horses anymore because we have something called automobiles. And then I realized, I don't really need a watch. I like it's a piece of, it's the piece of, it's a statement. But I've got the not the nuclear time, what do they call it? The atomic time in my pocket synced. It never goes bad as long as I have a battery. Let's talk about Moon. Can we talk about Moon? I want to talk about Moon. I want to know what you're going to do when Moon hits. I want to know what you think about Moon. What are you thinking when it moons? What do you have? Do you have something? Just share one or two things in there because I want to shout out some things. Moon, maybe something maybe like a luxury item you wouldn't normally get, or maybe a place you'd go. But I want you to shout it out in the comments because I want to see what you think about that. But here's something I saw, and then I want to ask you too, Matt, in a second. But I love this on Crate because it basically has a lot of cool gadgets and items, and there was a Lambo on the cover, which I thought was pretty interesting as well. Since we always talk about Lambos and popping bottles, that's Jungles, that's Jungles. Now, every time I see Lambos and popping, yeah, it's his moniker, right? By the way, I am Batman. Anyway, so Gallipoli, so yeah, the houseboat here. I don't know. I thought it was a houseboat, but look at this. Is this amazing? Look, you're just hanging out down here, looking over here, and oh, look, somebody just swims by, just like that. Look at the gorgeous view over here. Just like to show some things, just nice, clean looking, beautiful little thing. I like to show some of that. So I want to hear from you. What do you got going on moon time? What are we here? What are we thinking when it moons? Go ahead, Matt. Like, what are your thoughts?
God willing, this actually does do what we know and hope it does.
You got to be positive, Matt. Come on, you know it's going to do it. Yes, it can. You know it can. You know it can. Go ahead.
A $37 trillion remittance problem, absolutely. Anything is possible. But definitely help out friends and family and travel, lots of travel. I don't need a Lambo or a Bentley, but an Earth roam would be nice, and just traveling from national park to national park across the country sounds good to me.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I've done some traveling, so I mean, I'd love to. I always think moon, yeah, first class traveling. I want to go hang out with all of you. I want to throw a meetup somewhere. I want to do a cruise. We'll do some in some cool places. So many cool places we could do a meetup that would just be crazy, not like a pub or just something like an unusual place, like what we saw earlier. Matt was hanging out at, string some lights up, do some cool stuff. But I want to see some people from the community. I want to take my family to cool places. I want to go back to Machu Picchu again and explore that. Lots of cool things. So what do we got here? Anybody here talking about moons? Let's talk about what we got on the moon trip here. So we have, yeah, so we're looking here. Trip to the moon in 2029. That's what Jeff says from Hodel Report. And travel, build, and self-sustaining off-the-grid house community. Yeah, exactly, Phoenix Starborn. So one of the things that I want to do is I want to do something very close to that. My wife and I have talked about getting a farm, just being sustained, having the power come from solar, having, maybe in a community that smart community that's being built in Nevada. It looks pretty cool. I don't know how it's powered and stuff, but I just think, why not? It's like getting back to nature and doing something cool. Miyagi, what is he saying? So Auburn Reigns wants the Mustang 5.0 GT and Huger Blue, maybe a Mach 1. Can you be a little more specific? Because I'm not getting the mental image. I think you have to bring that closer together. So it's just so vague right there. By the way, the other day, somebody said, I think it was Oz Crypto put something out there. He said, what are you going to do when it moons? And then I started listing them like items, and I ran out of space. I put like 10 items. And some guy chimed in, he's like, is that all? And I was like, hey, I'm not done yet, man. So I like 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. When I was a kid, I wanted to be one of the things I thought about when I read about being oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fade right now. People that donate a lot of money. What are those people called? Come on, help me out, man.
Philanthropist.
Philanthropist. I thought that'd be cool. I go philanthropist. That sounds like a good, because they have career day. It's you're like in sixth grade. And they go like, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm reading about philanthropists. And I'm like, man, they just got gobs of money to give it away. And then I realized, oh, you have to have the money first. Okay, that's a small detail they left out. So I thought philanthropist, being an angel investor. James Malpass, I shouted you out early, man. James, I showed one of your stories that you tweeted out about the Apple story. You just missed it, but I gave you a shout out here. This one here. You'll notice it when I undo all the stuff. But anyway, I thought that was a good one. I shared that. Did a shout out to you, man. So I wanted to bring that up to you, my man. What do we have here? Where are we? Who else we got in the stream? Let's Chip. You haven't streamed. You drink out of a monster water bottle. Yeah, Jeff last night was dreaming out of this monster water bottle. He looked like a little kid with like two hands drinking on it. It was fantastic. And what else? What else we have going? Yacht life is my retirement, says Miyagi. Of course, man. No, that might be in your future right there. Auburn Rain, what are we saying? What else? What is Ben saying? Ben says when it's Moon, I'm paying off all debts, starting with school, pay off the house, Tundra, TRD Pro, kids' money for school, investing in property. Right on, man. That's a real estate minded guy right there. Clint Hubbard Jr. says, please have an exit plan, right? And we'll talk about that sometime at length. But you want to be registered on multiple exchanges. You want to have max amounts so that when it's time to liquidate, we all think about moon, but do you have an exit plan? So thank you, Clint Hubbard, for bringing that up, because right on, you need to have an exit plan. XRP the Great, he wants to open a recreation for disadvantaged kids. Nice, man. Very good. That's awesome. Yeah, doing good with money. XRP for good. Hashtag XRP for good. Greg, what did I miss about Google Ripple? Okay, so basically there was some speculation. It was an article, Greg, just to do a quick recap. Not a lot of information, uncited sources of someone who met somebody one time at a party who knew somebody who thinks there might be a partnership. It was really about the Google Ripple. I didn't want to promote it, FUD it too much, but it basically asserts that because they're powerhouses and because the remittance and because cross-border and also AMEX at some point in the future would they work together. I kind of think it's in the plans, but again, these are one of these articles that sort of dumps an idea on you and there's no real citing sources. Anthony Lewis says calculate the tax. I'm not sure what that's about. Malpass says you're keeping me awake on my journey across the Southeast U.S. All right, well, James, thank you for joining in, man. How's the road looking out? Man, don't be hitting that thing when you're on your journey, man. Don't be just listen. Don't talk. We'll yeah. So Albert Rain showing the eyes. Wake up. Yeah. Drive safe, says Annalise George. Drive safe. It's XRPL. That's weird. So yeah, XRPL. So it's X. It almost looks like X Ripple. Y'all know what CryptoHawk is talking about? No clue. I don't know what CryptoHawk is talking about, but I think this is some big news that somebody alluded to. Have you heard anything about this, Matt? CryptoHawk?
Negative.
All right. Well, if you find something out there, if you dig on that or you look around, you're the research man, so you'll probably dig up something on that. Yeah, don't let the whales absorb all your bags in the first big pump. Right on. Yeah, trying to find out what it is. Yeah, Greg, I don't really know. There was a little bit of talk earlier in the stream about that. I don't know what people are talking about. This is something if I'm hearing you, Greg X, that Ripple, it's something about some big news is coming out. That's all I heard. I heard it here. Kevin Cook is saying Google's aren't companies, aren't a company as an early investor.
Google Venture actually is a seed investor in Ripple.
Oh, there you go.
That's what Kevin's referring to.
Yeah, right on. So that makes a lot of sense that down the road you think they would end up doing that. Yeah, thanks for that. So there you go. The house and the pool and the pick is my XRP dream, says BZ Comedy Channel, who's going to Thailand soon, right? I think you're going to meet up with DNI. Hopefully you are. And I hope you guys take some pictures and you better take some videos if you guys are going to be hanging out. Anthony Lou says when XRP moons, we'll have to pay the tax man sooner or later. Thanks for crushing my soul. We were on such a roll. We were having a great time. You had to bring the tax man into it. Yeah, but that's a good problem. I always say if you got to pay a big tax bill, you've got a really solid problem. You know what I mean? That's a good problem to have. A good problem is to pay a lot of taxes. I'm not saying it like it's a bad thing. James says this sounds like a scam. Well, everything could be a scam. Auburn Reigns, he's saying the future's so bright he's got to wear shades. That's what I'm interpreting and reading into that. And my crafty research, XRP. Wait, what did Miyagi say? Miyagi say, isn't there something starting around about grossing more than $250,000 a year? you get taxed more? If so, I'm cashing out under that amount. Okay, I'm not sure about that. I mean, I think it's going to also depend where you are as well. Like if you're in New York and you live in the city and you get taxed for living there and you get taxed for walking down the street and then you get taxed for looking the wrong way and then there's so much regulation there. It's weird that what is Tom? Oh, hey Tom, thank you for stopping by. Tom Mullins, nice man. Hey, have a safe drive. See you. James, the partnership is also in the stream. I don't think I shouted him out, but let's do this. I want to end on one last story. I know we're running late. We're not actually late. We started late, but I wanted to see this 'cause I always like something interesting. This is an interesting story. So KLM Airlines wants to help build a more efficient jet with in-wing seating. When I first saw the name, I'm like, when you hear in-wing, I'm like, nobody wants to sit next to the wing because you always imagine like there's people walking around on there tapping on the windows. I don't know. I saw it in a movie once. But it's not really in wing because it's a V shape. And Matt, this reminds me of that. What's that plane? There's a plane out there, the government plane. It's I don't know what it's
Well,
called.
you
It's
have the stealth,
stealth
you have the
bomber, right?
B-2,
Yeah.
right, the B-2, and then before that, back in the 50s, you had the flying wing. So
There-
this is actually, it looks like almost like a more redesign of that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's cool if you look at where the engines are positioned is actually pretty interesting as well. But what I'm curious to see is they show this what it looks like here. We have the windows going on, people sitting there, but you have a whole section inside of here. I don't know. Maybe they have pool tables set up. They could have like a sauna, a pool, a spa. I don't know, but I thought that was pretty interesting. There is a little video you can watch here. If I play this, my stream will probably die, and I don't want to do that because who knows, man? Things have been going so well tonight. Anthony Luce is here. I don't know if I shouted you out yet, but look at this. So, but anyway, I'll put this in the description later. But I always like stuff like this. They also say there's a 20% savings in fuel consumption. Might not seem like much, but over time, you think about knocking 20% off. I know Norwegian Airlines, they fly one of those new aircraft that's carbon instead of steel, and that's almost 50% less. And I'll tell you what's great about that. I've flown that over to the UK a couple times, and it does cut down. I would say pretty, a lot, amazingly on the fatigue. Because they don't pressurize the plane as much. I think it's pressurized. It flies a little bit lower. But again, sometimes I see specials like 295 round trip, from Miami or New York, over to, one of the airports in London, or maybe go a little bit further north. But it's amazing, I mean, and a lot of what makes that possible is the fact that it's a lighter carbon plane and it's saving on fuel. So that was like the last one that I wanted to say there, and then that was the site right there that we looked at. So, in ending, guys, I wanted to end. I wanted to thank Matt for coming on here, and Matt, introducing you to the community, putting your name out there. I wanted you guys to go out there and follow him. I'm gonna leave his. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the stream again. But please follow him. He does some really good researching out there. And if you could, just let's end with what you're, with when you research, like what are some of the things if you want to share some pointers on the research? Because I know you do some deep dives and you uncover some stuff. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Real quickly, you want to make sure your source is factual. That's most important. It is believe it or not, there's very little right now in the space, and being able to just go to different search engines, that's important. Not just relying on Google. Being able to look at different countries, that's important as well. Go to different country sites if allowed, and just making sure your information is factual. I think that's as best as you can, because there's a lot of stuff that is being printed. It is, you're trying to find out where the sources are, but you can't. And that's I say, and being able to balance the information also of other YouTubers is very helpful as well.
Yeah, I agree. And we do have to be careful. A lot of the big leading sites right now, they're not English first. What I mean, like, they're done somewhere else. And sometimes I find some grammatical stuff. I can let that go, but a lot of the times, and one of the reasons I like using something where you can, anything that you can do some sort of an ad blocker and everything, you realize how short the stories are because you scroll down and there's an ad, and this one's actually not bad. This is
Right.
Fast
Correct.
Company because they have all the ads here. But it's funny if you ever knock that out, you realize it's 3 paragraphs. But you got to cut through all this garbage, and you know, all these ads and whatnot. And you know, I was debating whether I'd put that Google and Amex in there, but you know, I honestly kind of believe that it's kind of a no-brainer that it's going to happen. Now, the article itself that I sourced it from was kind of speculative, and they're, you know, somebody knows somebody, unnamed sources, but I actually think this is going to happen. I think Amazon, if they're probably not testing it and using it already, but you look at companies like Google and Apple, they've got all this money sitting overseas. The reason they don't bring it back is that, you know, the tax issue. But if they could bring it back, it's expensive to move, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars. And there's something that I've heard of. I don't know if you know about this map, but it's called XRP. If you've heard of that, it's you know, it's something really good. But I wanted to really thank you for coming on, man. I know I pinged you. I wanted to bring you on because I really appreciate what you do in the space and as a community member.
Thank you.
And the stuff that you find, man. And you know, and it's always great to meet a, you know, a fellow XRP community member, especially the stuff you put out. You do research it and cross-reference it, and you do all that stuff. So I know if I'm looking at something you've dug up, you know, there's some solid research behind it. So I wanted to say thank you for coming on the stream, and you know.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you all. And look, don't get caught up in any of the drama that's going on in the space. Just keep your head focused. Just basically, you know, just go to many sources for information, but there's a solid. Go to Chip, you go to Crypto Area. You got so many people in the space that are just so good, giving you good information. And just again, keep strong. It just as Jungle says, and everything's gonna progressively follow through. And that's it. We're in the right spot at the right time, and we have an opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, agreed 100%. You know, thank you for saying that. I was just getting rid of a troll in the stream here. Yeah, I was getting rid of a I was getting rid of a troll. We made it pretty well. And then Clara Snowden, hey, thank you very much. I don't think I shouted you out. Apologies there. But I want to thank everybody for coming. I know it's a little bit later. We started a little bit late, but guys, thank you for coming in here. Matt, thank you for being a part of this. Keep on hodling. Wait a minute, that's Jeff's line. That's Jeff from Hodl Report. And you know, Rain, if he's still here. Yeah, hey, thanks a lot, Ben. Ben, appreciate you coming by, man. Appreciate everybody coming by. Carl Lewis bringing the laughter as always. Anytime you guys make me laugh, it's always a good way to go. And believe me, if you watch the playback on this, I'm not laughing at you, Matt, but someone's cracking me up in the I have trolls. Everyone has trolls, don't you know? We all have trolls. It's part of the business, you know. It's part of the act. But that's why we have each other's back. That's why you have my back. I have your back. It's a whole community of love here. So, right, Phoenix Starborn? Phoenix Starborn says, yeah. Carl Lewis, thank you for the great show. Thank you for the participation. Let's do this again. When do you think we should do this again? I'll tell you when. Thursday night, 10 o'clock, right here in this spot. Right? We'll be right here in this spot. Tomorrow night, Jeff from Hodl Report, 10 o'clock. I want you to get into Jeff's stream tomorrow night. Of course, you know, Digital Nomad Investor. We know him as DNI, is at 9 o'clock. Of course, Brad Kimes before that. And then on Friday night, holding down the coveted Friday night spot is Rain, Auburn Rain, who's been in here the entire time. So, guys, that's my take. What's yours? Let me know in the comments below, because I know you will. Chip